When you receive a new client, the graduate assistant or personal training supervisor will email you to let you know of your new client. Once you pick up the new client paperwork, which will be placed in your box, be sure to contact them within 48 hours of receiving their information. Once you and your client have decided when to meet, email the personal training supervisor the meeting date and record the date and time on the Google Doc. Remember, check the Google Doc before scheduling any assessment to make sure that the room is available. On the date of the assessment prior to meeting your client, go into the assessment room and log into the computer using your Texas State NetID and password. Next, double-click the polar body age icon on the desktop as shown. Once it opens, press Add New Client, indicated by a green cross in the top left corner of the screen. Next, you will fill in their general information, name, birthday, gender, email, etc. Click on the Groups tab and add the client to your name. Now that you have set up the polar body age, upon arrival, you will meet your client at the front desk to introduce yourself. If the client has a backpack or any other belongings, show them how to check out a lock from the front desk in order to store their things. You will now take your client into the assessment room for their first assessment. Feel free to begin asking questions about your client's goals and habits while you're walking. Before beginning the assessment, have your client put the heart rate monitor on in the restroom before continuing. Once both of you are ready, press the green arrow labeled Testing in Polar Body Age. Select New Test Record using Autopilot. This will start the Polar Body Age assessment. First, you will measure their body weight. Have your client take off their shoes and socks and step on the scale to measure their weight. Next, ask the client for their height. Enter the client height and weight and click OK. Next is the bioimpedance body fat testing. Have your client remove their shoes for this test. Also, if your client is an athlete, check the athlete box at the bottom of the screen. When you are ready, click Next. The client stands in front of the scale until they hear a single beep. The client will then stand on the scale until they hear two simultaneous beeps. Proceed to the body composition profile by clicking Next at the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you will measure your client's blood pressure. If the client already knows their blood pressure and resting heart rate, you may enter these values into the respective boxes. Otherwise, we recommend going through with the blood pressure test. To measure your client's blood pressure, begin with placing the blood pressure cuff around their right arm. Make sure the arrow is pointing towards the client's anterior elbow and aligned with the brachial artery. Adjust the strap to ensure adequate pressure on the arm during testing. With their arm resting on the table, press the bottom button to start the blood pressure monitor. Allow the monitor to run its full course, which is indicated by a beep with numbers appearing on the screen of the device. From top to bottom, the numbers measured are systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, and resting heart rate. Record these numbers in their respective boxes in Polar Body Age. Click OK to continue. After blood pressure, we will measure the heart rate again using the strap the client put on at the beginning of the assessment. Once Polar Body Age is able to pair with the heart rate monitor, select the client's activity level based on the information provided by the client in the initial packet. Next, place a mat on the ground for the client to lay down on. Instruct the client to lay on the ground for 3 to 4 minutes until the data is collected. Add calming music to the client's preference using the stereo provided in the assessment room. In order to get the most accurate reading, inform the client that you will be turning off the lights and leaving the room while the monitor measures their heart rate. Always leave the door slightly cracked to ensure client safety. Once 3 to 4 minutes of data has been collected, re-enter the assessment room and click OK. Now you will measure the client's maximum amount of push-ups. Push-ups can be modified or regular push-ups based on the strength level or gender of your client. Instruct the client to use the mat rather than the hard surface of the floor. Once you have explained this test, click Continue, then OK to start the test. There is no time limit for this test. The client will perform push-ups until fatigue. Each time your client completes a push-up, press the space bar to keep track of each repetition. Click Stop once your client is maxed out, then click OK. Next, using the same mat, you will see their maximum amount of crunches in 60 seconds. Position the client in the correct crunch form according to the instructions listed in the Polar Body Age. The client will start with their fingertips behind the closest red line, and finish the rep once their fingertips have touched the second red line. To begin the test, click Continue, then Start. Remind your client that this is a timed test. and to complete as many crunches as they can with correct form in the time allotted. Just as the push-up test, click the spacebar every time your client completes a single rep. Once the 60 seconds is up, click OK to continue. For the next strength assessment, your client will be completing the bicep strength test. Have your client stand on the platform holding the horizontal bar while you adjust the strap. Adjust until your client's elbows are at 90 degrees. Click Continue. Once ready, click Start Trial 1. Instruct the client to pull up on the bar for 5 consecutive seconds. Allow the client to rest 30 seconds between trials. Your client will complete a total of 3 trials. Click OK to continue. You will now test your client's flexibility. Have your client sit on the ground directly in front of the computer stand. Have your client sit upright with their legs extended and their feet on the bottom of the stand. Hand your client the bar with their arms extended. Press Continue. Then press Start Trial 1. Instruct your client to reach as far forward as they can and hold the position until they hear a beep. Then they may release and return back to the starting position. You will complete 2 more trials of flexibility. Now, Polar Body Age provides a nutrition and stress questionnaire for your client to complete. Ask the client the questions aloud and have them answer the questions to the best of their ability. You have now completed the Polar Body Age assessment. Now you must save your client's data as well as print them out their own personal copy. While you are saving and printing reports, ask the client if they need water or to use the restroom, and to remove their heart rate monitor in the nearest bathroom while they are waiting. A window should pop up when you finish testing. Click Preview in the bottom right-hand corner. Then click File, Export Document, PDF, then click OK. In order to save the personal profile, select Computer, then Department, then SA, then CREC, CREC Shares, Fitness PT, then the respective semester and year that we are currently in, then select your folder. Create a new client folder and save their personal profile here. Plug in a USB drive and save their personal profile on here as well. Email the client their profile. Now you will print a report summary. Select Reports, Data Summary, Preview, File, then Print. Be sure to print 2 copies for you and your client. After the report has printed, go back to Reports, then Graphical Summary. When the Report Options box appears, make sure the most recent box is checked off. Click Preview, File, Print, then adjust the number of copies to 2, print, then print again. You may now exit out of Polar Body Age and log off the computer. After completing Polar Body Age, you will take circumference measurements of your client. Inform your client of the 7 areas you will be measuring to ensure that the client is comfortable with them. If not, feel free to skip those areas. All 7 areas will be illustrated on the far wall in the assessment room. Remember to always measure each area twice and to be as accurate as possible when performing these measurements. The last section is the 1 rep max testing to assess your client's overall strength. First, you will have your client perform a single rep chest press. Have the client sit down so that you can adjust the seat to their height. Start the client off with extremely light weight and have them complete 8 to 10 reps so they can warm up and become comfortable with the machine and the movement. Progress weight gradually until the client can no longer complete the exercise or they can no longer maintain proper form. Record on your assessment sheet the max amount of weight your client could press. For the second max test, have your client perform a leg press. Have your client sit down on the machine so that you can adjust the seat to fit their height. The client's knees should be shoulder width apart, bend at 90 degrees, and their knees should not pass their toes. Start your client out with moderately light weight and have them do 8 to 10 reps to warm their legs up and to acclimate to the machine and the movement. Progress the weight gradually until the client can no longer complete the exercise or they break form. Record on your assessment sheet the max amount of weight your client could press. Your client has now finished their initial assessment and is on their way to meet their fitness goals. Congratulate them on an awesome assessment and have them sign your log sheet before they leave.